Guys, I'm so excited to show you our pin craft today. So the pin that we're doing today is the Belle pin, and I did an unboxing of these before. It's kind of hard to show. I remember I tried to show you, but I did it from the bottom. Anyway, they are stunning pins, and the glitter is just so beautiful. It's just, I don't know. These pins are amazing. I want to show you the dies first because I don't want to lose these pieces. So these are the Storybook Friends dies. And if you go to fabulousstamper.com and click on shop with me, you can go to Stampin' Up website and you can still get these dies. And what happens is they give you these little metal pieces and you run them through a little machine and it cuts out these die cut pieces. Now I had gold foil. Whatever gold foil you have on hand, you'll use that. So I did this first ahead of time just so that our video was a little bit smoother. I've done other videos where I show you how to use the machine, so I just wanted this one to be a little quicker. Here are our pieces. You're going to need one full frame, and you're going to need a right side of the frame and a left side of the frame. Now this extra piece we're not going to be using. It was just how it was cut on the paper, and I'll show you guys what we do with it in a little bit. I just didn't want to lose these pieces, so I wanted to show you this first. We're going to cut and glue those together a little bit later, but you still have to do that anyway. So you kind of want to do that first because in my opinion, I always do my die cutting first because getting the machine out while I'm stamping and cutting, to me, it's just an extra headache. So I prefer to do these all ahead of time. So that's just my preference. So for our paper, we have 6x6 Daffodil Delight, 5x5 Poppy Parade, and then we have 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 for the Lemon Lolly. And again, you can get all this cardstock at fabulousstamper.com and click shop with me, and you can get all this paper. Poppy Parade is not really my favorite red because it's kind of a fake red. I like to say it's just posing as red because, like, look at it next to the red. This is the red ink. Red is so much darker. This has like quite a bit of orange in it, like quite a bit of yellow, making it, it's like a pretend red. It wants to be orange, but it's pretending to be red, but it can't be orange and it can't be red. It's like right in the middle. It's not really my favorite red, but it matches our pin. The richness of the colors of these pins, it wasn't as dark on Belle as I think it should be, because you know the rose for Belle is usually a red, deep red rose, and this is kind of a coral almost rose. I mean, it's almost coral. So anyway, let's go ahead and get our stamping out of the way. Our stamp that we're using today is the same one we used in that card a few weeks ago, and it comes from a paper pumpkin stamp called, oh gosh, Sentimental Rose. And this paper pumpkin is a kit you can get every month, and you get these stamps in them, and it's just really nice. They're really gorgeous. So in order to do this technique, all I did was I'm going to stamp across my Lemon Lolly, and I want to make sure I get a nice big rose in one spot. And you're just creating your own designer series paper. Oh, I meant to rotate it. Usually I rotate it so it doesn't look too matchy-matchy. Oh, that one had a bad. I gotta rush that a little. Well, that's good. Now I can rotate it. All right. I think I just pressed it down, was rushing it for the video. So I just rotated it, giving it some space. Make sure I'm not on top of the other rose. Make sure it's down on all sides. This is a detailed stamp, which means it just has a lot of really fine grooves in it. And I'll show you in a second when I'm done. I don't want to move the paper because sometimes it kind of messes up your stamping. So just one second. Let's make sure this one doesn't get messed up. Okay. All right. And then we're going to do the same thing down here. Make sure I don't want to have to cut another piece of Lemon Lolly. And we're going to rotate it. And we're just creating our own paper for Belle, specific to Belle. Okay. And then you don't have to press this hard, but I'm a little anxious that I'm going to do it wrong. Okay, and I think we got it across all of it. And oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you, make sure you have your white piece of paper underneath, because you know, you're going to go off the edge of the card. You don't want it all over your table, obviously. Sorry. Not a very good teacher on that. So that's our basic base. So it's not a complicated card per se, but it definitely has elements, you know. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue these layers together. And then I'm going to center this on the other one. Now this will adjust a little bit in your frame. This card base. Whoops, I want it centered. But it's funny, it's like not, you know how sometimes you can have a picture that's crooked, like, you know, you cut it from, you know, the school pictures, you'll cut them and they're crooked, but then when you put them in the frame, you can't see that it's crooked. That's kind of what happens sometimes when you do these. Like a large portion of this will be covered up by the frame, so a lot of the adjusting can happen there. But anyway, so we've got our basic layer. So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our foil and we're going to be putting this together. So these little filigree pieces or die cut pieces, in order to fit the pin, technically the pin fits inside this frame just fine. But I felt like the frame needed a little more substance because it felt just kind of weak compared to the pin. Like it just needed a little more oomph in my opinion. So I went ahead and cut off an extra right and left layer. So most of this top stuff is going to be, let me cut this right here and maybe I can use this piece for something else. Okay. So these little pieces are going to go to the side and add like an extra bulkiness to the frame. And we're going to do that with some tear and tape. So you see, it like widens the frame just a little bit and makes it a little bit more substantive, just a tiny bit. And so let's get our tear and tape. This is some narrow tear and tape that I have, but you can use you can even use regular glue. The only problem with regular glue is it sometimes can just be a little too messy, and the gold drying, sometimes the glue doesn't dry very quickly on the gold foil. So I don't always use it with these particular projects, but the white glue does work with it. It just depends on how much you use. And there's a whole, just a little more, you know, just things trial and error that you learn as you're crafting. So let's go ahead and let's get this on. Okay. Right. Now, for the layering of this, I wanted my layers, I wanted the dotted parts. I want the dots to just barely be underneath the edge of this frame because I want as much of this frame to be out. And oh, it's a little too high. Let me do it this way. All right, I'm going to zoom in from the top down a little to show you. So you see, I'm just getting those dots just underneath. just underneath the edge there. All right, just underneath on the edge there. Whoops. It was a tiny bit crooked, so I moved it. All right, whoops. Just adjust it till you get it right underneath. Then we'll do the same thing on this side. It's a little delicate, but it's not so difficult it can't be done. This one has a little more lip on the bottom to go underneath. It doesn't have to have this much of a lip onto the bottom edge. It just, this one does. I might cut it off if it's causing problems with the layering, but it shouldn't. There we go. Just needs to take a second to line it up. Whoops. So now I'm going to trim. So see how this is layered? See how it overlaps and is kind of messy right there on the top? We need to trim just a little bit. So just be really delicate in trimming your excess off. Don't go too wild, because one time I cut it a little too far and I wound up cutting part of the main frame and I had to redo it. So yeah, I want to have a little piece cut out, but I don't want to cut off this little curl. So it's like finding that little balance. There we go. All right. So on the back, so I still have the curl right here, but I still have the rest of the frame. So good, good, good. Then same on the other side. Just be careful. Okay. There we go. Now we have it. Let's go ahead and get our other scissors. I had some narrow, I'm not sure if Stampin' Up! Still sells it, but there's like a narrow pieces that you can buy, but I don't know if we still sell those anymore. I think that we stopped selling them. So I'm going to go ahead and put down my narrow dimensionals. Now we do sell the flat dimensionals that you can cut yourself. And that's essentially what I'm doing here with these scraps. This is from a paper pumpkin set, these scraps. So I just thought, oh, I'll use, not scraps, this little baby package is from a paper pumpkin kit. And if you don't know, a paper pumpkin kit is an all-inclusive kit that comes to your house with all the things you need to make a craft. Oops, that overlapped a lot. So let's cut that off. We don't want the foam showing. Okay. And then we'll put a little bit down here at the bottom. Now it needs to be a little narrower to fit at the bottom and the top there. So it's just a tiny, we just need it to stay nice and narrow. We just want to make sure everything stays up too. Like we want to make sure that the the foam, like the frame, stays three-dimensional. We don't want it coming down, you know. Okay. Let's see if we can peel this one off a little easier. There we go. And here we go. All right, done. Okay, So now I was debating on if I wanted, yeah, I think I want it like this. I don't really want these big gold blotchy pieces. So this paper, I can't find the package. I'd have to go dig it out. So this paper is from I think it's from a year ago. And it's this nice red like paint, and then they added all this gold foil. We don't have this currently, but I think we have a red that's similar right now with foil on it. And if not, again, find what works. I wanted the red backing so that the pin would really pop. And yes, it's crooked. It's okay that it's crooked because we're going to be trimming off anything that's excess with our scissors. I just needed there to be a more substantive back, or I wanted a different color back. I didn't want it to be yellow underneath. I didn't want this to be the same thing within the frame, because then to me, it didn't seem like it was, it didn't seem like it was a frame. You know what I mean? Because frames usually aren't the same color as the wall. Let's make sure, okay. Let's make sure this is trimmed off. Make sure there's nothing missing. I always trim these extra little corners just in case, because they do sometimes peek out and you don't notice it, and then until it's already on your project. So yeah, everything is down now. Okay, so yeah, I see a layer. I see some of this coming up the top here. All right. There we go. There we go. Now it's good. And then we're going to glue it down. So in order to make sure this is centered, so I sold one of these and it wasn't centered completely. And I was so embarrassed because that made me anxious, because I'm like, what else is not correct, you know? So it just made me really nervous. It was fine. It was just, and that made me paranoid. Anyway, I'm just been a little paranoid about making sure everything was as even as it could be. Now, homemade crafts are going to be homemade. So, okay, that's too high. We need it down a little bit more. And this is a centering ruler. It has a 0 in the middle and 1, 2, 3 on the side. And then it also has a regular ruler on this side. But what you do is you find your center with the 0, and then, you know, you can figure out where, if you instead of doing the math to figure out what is the center, you actually can just line up your edges and then find the 0 in the center. So I know that each side of the yellow lemon lolly paper that we made is 6 and 6. So I need to make sure that I center the point of this frame about right there. Now, it's not going to be perfect. It's a handmade craft, but I'm going to try my best to make sure it's centered. All right, let's get some glue. Just a little bit, it doesn't have to be a ton. But the good thing about having the wet glue on this is that it allows more movement, so I can keep sliding it around a little to make sure it's centered. Okay, it's not centered. Now it's centered. Let's see, is it? Sorry, I'm trying not to get my head in the frame, but I need to make sure it's not crooked and centered. Let me grab my tweezers. There's a hair. There we go. Good. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, so now let's press it down. I got this from the Dollar Tree, and like before, now the Dollar Tree no longer sells this particular frame. At least I haven't been able to find it, nor did they have it for shipping online. So that was quite a bummer, because I've run out. I had like several cases I ordered before, I think during COVID or before COVID. So anyway, so I'm trying to find more frames. So you set your glass aside And again, it's, you know, $1.25 frame. And then you're going to put your pin craft inside. Now, I am going to put some glue dots to hold our pin craft in place because it moves a little bit in there. So we want to make sure that it stays in place. So I'm taking my tweezers. There they are. And I'm going to put 4 little dots on the corners. And it's just to hold that cardstock in place. So once we get it straight in the frame, it should be pretty immovable. So I'm going to check it. Not immovable, because I mean the glue dots are not like super crazy permanent. Let's get this centered. Okay. And then we're going to put a piece of white on the back. Then we're going to press this down in. And oops, we really don't need much else. Oh, we need our backer. Okay. So these pins are made by Monogram. Monogram is just so good with their pin design. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and, you know what I'm going to, actually, you know what I'm going to make sure I have on there before? I'm going to make sure I have a couple glue dots on the back here. Because once you have your pin in there, sometimes it's hard to get the glue dot underneath. So I want to make sure it's at the bottom of the frame, but not, I want to make sure it's at the bottom of the frame. But I also want to make sure it's centered to the top. It's a little tricky. I think I got the spot. Oops. Oof. This is where you have to be careful. You know what? I'm going to put this underneath. There we go. That allows me a little more, so I'm not ripping the paper, but allows me to get through the paper. That allowed me to hold the back, but not necessarily, and just wiggle it. Don't press too hard because you can bend your pin back if you're not careful. Oh, darn it. It was a little off. It moved when I stood up or picked it up. So it's, yeah, it's through now. Okay, good. Oh, darn it. Now it's not centered the other way. It's like right in the middle. There. Ah, there we go. Got it. There we go. Got it. I just needed to make sure this was centered at the top there. All right. So I'm going to press and make sure that that glue dot kind of holds it down, just keeps it from sliding around. And there's enough room on the back here that we can put our backer. But I'm going to go ahead and put a little piece of, what's the word? A little piece of, a little glue dot to make sure to hold this backer on. And so that's it. That's our craft. Oh, no, I forgot. We also had some gems on it. So we will use these 3 blooming pearls. And we're going to be using the red gemstones here, rhinestones, as well as the iridescent foil gems. I just think they add a little something. And let's place these large pearls first. And I'm placing them off the roses. I just found that they looked a little bit better when they weren't right on a gem. I mean, right on a rose. And I'm focusing on using the large ones first. I don't know if I... Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll... No, I... Okay. All right. And then... There we go. Because you know how I don't like it in even numbers. So let's put one down there. And one down there. Actually, I think we need a couple more. Let's put another one here. And another one over here. Just a few gems just to kind of like add a little something. So that is our craft. So that's our craft. Pretty, right? I just thought they turned out really nice, you know, just a nice way to display these without it being too crazy difficult, you know. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to comment, like, and all the things. And you have an excellent, excellent day. Thank you.